Amazing story unfolding in St. Louis after a police officer crashed his SUV into a bar and arrested the bar owner. Community is a little bit outraged. Let's play video that is emerging of this incident. So here we go. Here comes the officer.
You can see the time, 12:29 a.m.
And boom. Boom. Okay. Crashes right into the bar.
Right into it.
Right into the bar. So what we know is that after, first of all, the police officer had said that he swerved to avoid a dog in the street. Oh, that's a lie. Now
Did not see a dog.
Now he's saying that he swerved to avoid a parked car, which is kind of a hilarious claim to make.
So let's put that VO up again, because you can see that there is a parked car.
But there are parked cars parked all over the country.
Right, there we go. So yeah, so you can see him
that is a
coming into the
car.
left side of your screen. If you're listening to this, it's a police SUV. You see, he does see a parked car.
There's also a telephone pole.
And does start swerving.
So are you allowed to crash into bars because you see a telephone pole?
It's a weird, it's such a weird story, especially since it started with a dog.
But it gets so much better, worse, I should say.
Well.
So this is a gay bar. The two owners.
Owned by a man with the last name Pence, by the way.
Pence and Wick, yeah. And so Pence and Wick rush to the front of the bar where they see a police SUV in their bar.
Right. They live above the bar.
Yeah. They confront the officers. And they're like, what on earth are you doing? Why have you crashed into our building? The officers lose it on these dudes and start demanding ID, which is the most incredible thing I can possibly imagine. A police SUV crashing through your building and demanding to see your ID. And so Pence says he replied, and this is from the Riverfront Times, no, you don't. That's a police cruiser in my building. You don't need to see my ID. This is not how this works.
Right.
I can't think of anything more obviously true than that. You don't crash into somebody's building and demand to see their ID. Wick sounds like he was filming at the time. Immediately, the police descend on these guys. They put Pence in handcuffs, and Wick says that he had his hands up. They then spun him around, slammed him down. They ended up taking Wick to the police station and holding him for a overnight plus then some, claiming that he assaulted the police officers, just like I assume this bar resisted arrest. Yeah,
so this is, the police report initially says, quote, an offender came outside and, quote, began shouting obscenities at police officers after the crash. The report, though, doesn't name the offender.
You kind of earn that when you crash into a building.
Right, so one of the officers, according to the report, quote, attempted to calm the situation, and then the offender shoved one of the police officers. Now, this is not disputed by Pence. He says, my husband did put his hand on a cop out of defense because they had already put me, Pence, in handcuffs because I wanted to know what was going on. I was told I had to ID or shut up. So basically what happens is this police SUV, again, if you're listening, what you see is it driving, what looks like probably too fast down a two-lane road. There's a parked car on the right side of the road. As it approaches the parked car, it moves out of the way, but they lose control, swerve left into the bar because they're going too fast. Now, what happens is the people who live above that bar, the owners of the bar, see that there's a police SUV crashed into the storefront. They're upset, understandably so, and then the altercation from there spirals into one of them getting handcuffed after he does not want to present his ID, puts his hand on a cop, and it all goes out of control.
The other guy trying to protect his
partner.
His partner.
Right.
Yeah.
His husband.
From cops who were like, obviously like amped up. They just crashed a car into.
Yeah.
Like, is there any point at which there could be some humility in this situation? Like, guys, I thought I saw a dog, and I crashed into your bar, and I'm really sorry. We're gonna take care of this, rather than
we're dropping the charge.
Let me see your ID.
Yeah.
Like, what are you what is this bar doing on top of my police car?
What did you do to get me to swerve into your bar? Well, no, I mean, again, that's...
What's the bar called? Because...
It's called Bar PM, Bar::PM.
Yeah, Bar PM.
So again, like this is such a strange situation because the cops should understand why somebody is upset at them, screaming obscenities. It's 12:30 in the morning. You see that in the CCTV footage. 12:30 in the morning, someone awakens you by crashing a car into your property, into your business, how you make your livelihood. You come, you're upset. They ask for your ID and then arrest you. And instead of dropping the charges, they actually go through with all of this. It blows up into a national news story. That is absolutely insane that the police department at this point, given the level of offense that's being alleged here, which is that they shoved a cop, they admit to putting their hands on a cop, but not necessarily to shoving a cop. The level of the offense versus how any human being would react in that situation, you drop the charges.
Yeah, and they initially charged him with a felony. They have since reduced that to a misdemeanor. Obviously, his attorney is saying that's absurd. You need to get rid of that too. We actually have a clip from the bar owner himself after he was released, which we could roll here.
As you guys can see, we're pleased to report that Chad's out. He's very emotional. He's going to just make one quick statement. As you can see, close your eyes. They beat him pretty terribly. He's got bruises all across his body. This is for the offense of asking why they handcuffed his husband. Just step up here. Step up.
Just want to say that I'm really glad to be out, and it's been an emotional time, but I'm happy for the support and to be out and to become better on my husband's birthday, so I want to just go home.
They messed that guy up.
That is before I saw that clip, you don't understand the gravity of the allegations against the officers until you physically see the man who ended up on the other end of this situation, this altercation.
Right. The cops had one job, which is to not crash their SUV into the bar. Then, after they crashed their SUV into a bar, they had one other job, which is to apologize for crashing into the bar, make amends.
When people are upset at them, by the way, instead of lashing out, of course people are upset. You crashed a car on a completely quiet street into their property, into their business, and their home at 12:30 in the morning. They're upset. You should apologize instead of asking them for an ID and then handcuffing them.
And then after that, you have one job, which is to de-escalate the situation that you have sparked. After that, your one job is to not beat up the guy that you have illegally detained. And then after that, the police's job is to not hold him in the cell for as long as they did. So this is a top to bottom failure. One question I'll be interested to find out is, was this a terrible driver who just saw a parked car and ended up crashing his
going too fast
his car to the bar?
Yeah.
Or is there some type of situation going on here locally and this was more deliberate? That they crashed into this bar on purpose?
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of questions that remain unanswered, but one thing I think is pretty obvious, that the old model of policing that we saw work in small communities for a long time, where officers are really members of the community, are neighbors with business owners and people who live in the streets that they police, this shouldn't happen. Right? Police officers should be good neighbors. They should be good members
if somebody
of the
puts his hand, I know cops absolutely lose their minds if somebody touches
because it's a dangerous
them.
job. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the buildings popping out in front of you everywhere.
The buildings are all over the place. Yeah,
but you do not do that.
Yeah,
you do not do that. And we'll see if we get body cam footage. St. Louis police are supposed to have body cam footage, right? Thanks to the
definitely
kind of the crackdowns after Ferguson in that area.
Although I don't know if they would have to have had the body cams on if they're driving.
Right, but once they've gotten out of the car and now they're trying to arrest somebody and asking for ID, I just can't get over that. Let me see some ID.
After I crashed into your home.
Because I crashed into your car.
Yeah.
And then getting offended when he properly tells you, buddy, that's not how this works.
Yeah.
Get out of my bar.
Right.
Let me see some ID.
Yeah.
And your insurance details, because you're paying for all of this.
And again, the way that police officers in an ideal situation see their jobs is as being like leaders in the community, good members of the community, good neighbors. And being a good neighbor does not involve crashing into somebody else's property and then treating them like a suspect because they're upset about it.
Yeah, that's right. And so hopefully with the settlement that they can get out of this, they can build the coolest gay bar in St. Louis.
You're saying they don't already have the...
Maybe they already do, but...
What is your favorite gay bar in
It'll be a
St.
shame.
Louis?
It's this one now.
This one,
Yeah.
Bar PM.
Bar PM.
Hey, if you liked that video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to Breaking Points.
If you want to see the rest of Counterpoints, go to breakingpoints.com to become a premium member and get the full uncut show every morning in your inbox and on Spotify.
Help us build independent news and get the full show every morning at breakingpoints.com.